Good morning, my esteemed viewers. You're welcome to today's political discussion. Today is the 22nd of July, 2025, and we are discussing Nigerian politics. It is so sad that Southeast leaders, politicians, are not speaking up against the indigenization bill by Benjamin Kalu and the Fulani. It is so sad that religious leaders, traditional leaders from the Southeast, even Ohanese and Co., they are not speaking up against this evil bill by Benjamin Kalu and the Fulani, and also Hope Uzodinma. Now, the Southeast is being labeled as a region, expansionist ideology. So Zig started it. Ironsi did this one. Igbos. Now it is time for these leaders to speak, because your silence means that you approve of what is being discussed by these two elements, Benjamin Kalu and Hope Uzodinma. If you keep silent, that means you approve of it. Now, if there's a repercussion, if things go south, these people will run for their lives and leave the innocent Igbos to take the bullet, because approving this bill, enacting this bill, even some Yoruba politicians are also keeping silent. I don't know why. When there's an attack on a particular people, you don't see these guys anywhere. So we are calling on Southeast politicians. Let us know your take on this indigenization bill by Benjamin Kalu and Co. You are painting the Southeast in a bad light. Let's move on. Electoral reform recommendations by Nigerians. Now, if there is no electoral reforms, there is no election. These are what Nigerians are saying. If there is no electoral reforms, forget about elections in Nigeria. I sampled some opinions and I got some recommendations by Nigerians. Although a professional body has come out with a template for that electoral reform, I hope the Tinubu administration implements this electoral reform. I hope they are willing to reform INEC. Like I said, no reforms, no elections. Now, I spoke to some persons and look at what they said. The president should not appoint the INEC chairman. Nigerians are saying, that is from the opinions from Nigerians. The president should not appoint INEC chairman. Instead, the House of Assembly, the Senate, can do so. So the president will not have the prerogative to just appoint an INEC chairman, because it's going to influence the elections. Look at what happened 2023 with Mahmoud Yakubu and the appointments. Look at the speculations that the president Bola Ahmed Tinubu would soon remove Mahmoud Yakubu and put somebody that will do his bidding. Look at Edo State elections, whereby they replace Commissioner of Police, they replace INEC chairman, and all of a sudden things just turned around. After the president went there to boast that he's going to hand over Edo State to APC members in that state. So Nigerians are saying that the president should not appoint the INEC chairman. Electronic voting should be implemented. Electronic voting. Results should be displayed live on a national platform. You know, when you look at Republican, the Senate, lawmakers in the US, when they are voting, you see it live, reading live. The thing that paid me the most is that INEC got billions of naira last election to do all they can do, to do everything they need to do. They played the Nigerians because of loopholes in the electoral reform. So many loopholes. Nigeria thought they assured Nigerians that transmission electronical, vote blah blah blah, everything, IREV, Beavers and everything. But they left some loopholes in the electoral reforms that they could use to rig elections, deceive Nigerians. I told you that when I saw one of the provisions that you could use manual, and I saw, okay, these people are not going to rely. If there's an open window for them to use manual for that last election, that is what they are going to use. I told people, and what happened at the end of the day? 4 a.m. after using manual collation, they announced Tinubu winner. So electronic voting should be implemented. Results should be displayed live on a national platform as voting is going on for transparency. Voting should be enabled from any location, regardless of where one is registered. Normally, if I'm going to vote, since we are going technological, INEC has the capacity that wherever I am, if the Ministry of Interior, if you can apply for your passport, if you can apply for exams in Nigeria, if you can fill your WAEC forms, whatever, if you can do your NIN online, the same thing, I can vote online. So Nigerians are suggesting that we want to vote wherever we find ourselves, the location we find ourselves within Nigeria. Because it is not that one that you want to go and vote now. APC go down organize thugs or the ruling party, because PDP themselves do one. They will put machineries in place to make sure that they stop you from voting manually. See, physical voting should be even discouraged now. You can stay online. If you're watching Big Brother, if you're watching Idol, if you're watching some of these programs, they'll tell you that vote online. It is possible for us to vote online. And as we are voting, it's being monitored. It is possible. So these are the reforms we are asking for. Somebody said I should talk about reforms. This is it now. So vote wherever you are, so that we will bypass the era of intimidation or logistics or whatever, overcrowding or whatever, overwhelming the INEC official and whatsoever. This is from Nigerians. Now, adjust the election timetable to ensure that all tribunal matters are concluded within a month before swearing in. This one is important. Adjust the election timetable to ensure that all tribunal matters are concluded a month before swearing in. No be say after you don't swear in the president Bola Ahmed Tinubu, una constantly go court. In a country like Nigeria, you don't swear in the president already, you are still going for litigation. So what would now happen? So the judge that may be changed by the president, that may be influenced by the knowing the see, one thing we need to know is that we should understand the kind of political atmosphere. We must understand the kind of politics we are playing in a certain place. If you go to Rome, understand how Rome thinks and how Rome do their things so that you can survive. So knowing the kind of politicians we have in Nigeria, the kind of weak institutions we have in Nigeria, the kind of compromise we have amongst our judiciary, saboteurs everywhere, people that are willing to sell judgment. So we should be able to ensure that all tribunal matters are concluded a month before swearing in. I just picked some of these from the people. Yes. Now, let's look at the professional institutions. Make beavers mandatory for voter accreditation. Manual accreditation, wipe it out. Wipe it out. Beavers should be mandatory. Although in some litigations you saw they brought out the beavers and they looked at it. If you bring anything manual to this next election, there's a high propensity that rigging can go on. Some people can rig with beavers, whatever it is. They can find, Nigerian politicians, they can look for a way to do their rigging. But with manual voting, the tendency is high now. If I'm in my house and I'm voting in my house, say, is it the Agbero that come and carry my ballot box in my house? Just vote. Is it? We can achieve this if we are doing transactions online. Yes, let's move on. Make beavers data binding as the official accreditation record. Only beavers should be accredited officially. Beavers data binding as the official accreditation record. Not when you want to do accreditation, you now go and start looking at manual information that you can manipulate any day, anytime. Because it is Nigeria. We are saying this thing. Let Tinubu government listen. You see, like I said, I'll keep on saying it. Some things will happen in Nigeria. It will shock everybody. And the Tinubu you are seeing may be Nigeria's last president if some things are not implemented. You can see the political tension left, right, center. You can see how Labour Party is adjusting. How Abude meets Wike, all of a sudden, Labour Party, Ahmed Dati is reconciling with Labour Party. All of a sudden, Atiku and Co, they are trembling. This one, Obi is neither here nor there. Things are happening. We are saying that electoral reforms is it. People are going to get desperate this 2027 election, especially northern Nigeria. So these recommendations, some people are saying that I'm not sure say Tinubu go fit Tinubu government. They go. Let's move on. So Beaver's data is the only recognized. Make it official, not any other. You know, when you go to voting booth now, you see them put picture. They'll put picture here. Now, legally recognized electronic transmission of results to IREV. Legally recognized. Legally recognized. It should not be an option. It should be an official recognition. That's what they did in last election. I've said it before. They used manual. After all their glitch, whatever excuses, they had to use manual because the provision for manual was there, and there's nothing you could do about it. They were elevating. They were like promoting, yes, electronic transfer of results, blah blah blah. They didn't tell you that there was something behind it, which is manual, that they can still use that one, so that you not suspect their evil act. Okoye and co. You know, when they want to do something evil, they use an Igbo man so that it looks somehow balanced. And most Igbo people, they are being used by money. So, legally recognized electronic transmission of results to IREF. Penalize INEC officers who fail to transmit results electronically. There must be a law to penalize, even though it is 10 years imprisonment, INEC officials who fail to transmit results electronically. Let's move on. Documentary evidence in petitions clarification in section 137 to accept certified documents like beavers, logs, IREV screenshots, EC8A's forms as sufficient proof of irregularities, minimizing the need for oral testimony. Now, if you watch the last election, the obedient movement, they carry box, they carry evidence, they carry plenty things come court to prove that they won their elections. At the end of the day, they jettison it, they put it one side. Oral testimony came in. Oral testimony, your word against my word. They had an option of jettisoning evidence, documentary evidence. They had a lot of excuse to jettison that evidence. Now, it has been said that it must be accepted. It must be included that these EC8A forms, IREV screenshots, beavers, and logs should be a sufficient proof used. See, it should be a sufficient proof of irregularities, minimizing the need for oral testimony. So let there be options of beavers, the logs, IREV screenshots, EC8A forms as sufficient proof of irregularities. Because if you go do an election day, you take screenshots, blah blah. We have evidence. We have evidence. You take your evidence. APC knowing that your evidence can be struck out in court, whatever it is. However, they do their thing. It's not mandatory. You know that these guys are wasting their time now. Let them bring it to court. That's why they tell you, go to court. Go to court. So it should be mandatory that these things are taken seriously. At least it should be the primary source of evidence. EC8A forms, IREF screenshot, and beavers logs. Now, number 9 is this is number 5. There's 6, 7, 8, 9, but 9, 10. But let me look at 9, then I'll go back to 6, 7, 8. Harmonization of election dates. Recommendation for all elections to be conducted on the same day nationwide. Harmonization of election dates. Recommendation for all elections to be conducted on the same day nationwide. This is very important. God save Sonolu and Co. If say that almost all the elections were. These are recommendations from the NBA, Nigerian Bar Association. So it's not my recommendation. So if you think that there are any other recommendations that can be put through, you're welcome to bring it out. So election dates, all elections conducted on the same day nationwide. It is not hard. It is not hard. If you want to do transaction, If bank won't collect your money, you can do 10, 20 transactions every day now. What are the posts now? You have governor, assembly members, you have president, senate, representatives. 5. Or is it 5 or 6? Governors, assembly members, assembly, president, House of Rep, senators. 5. You go 5, 5, 5 in one day, because you know Nigeria like wasting money. They want if they have opportunity, they will do it in 3 days. Budget billions of naira for that 3 days. Maybe they just see money where they go steal. Why not do it one day? INEC will come early. You go, you press. Do your stuff and you go. Everybody is okay. I know that the APC listening to this one, they'll be looking at you. Like I said, Tinubu and Co, they are not ready for anything called free and fair elections. They are not ready. But I've said it, no elections without INEC reforms. Number 6, Electoral Offences Commission establishment of an independent commission with prosecutorial powers to address vote buying, violence, result manipulation, and misconduct by electoral officers. They should create a separate court, an electoral offences commission. Not that you overwhelm the high courts, the tribunal, with some tribunal will have so many things they can deal with. It's just like now that the court is going on recess, somebody now go arrest you and they charge you to court. You wait until October when they resume. Just like Nnamdi Kanu's case, you wait until October when they resume. While there are some, if we have so many special courts that will address so many of these things, it will not be prolonged. And when it's prolonged, you might be weary. Like a president now, rig his way into power, and they need to address those issues. First, they are dealing with one case. They are dealing with the electoral, the election itself, the beavers and everything, and they are taking a long time. Before they finish that one, they are John. Before they will now come to vote buying, violence, and all this manipulation. That they're supposed to have some particular, specific commissions, establishment, independent commissions to address it. So what they are saying is that Electoral Offences Commission establishment of an independent commission with prosecutorial powers to address vote buying, violence, result manipulation, and misconduct by electoral officers. Number 7, early voting for election officials. Introduction of early voting for INEC officials, accredited security personnel, journalists, and observers to improve neutrality and efficiency on election day. According to NBA, I don't know how this is going to improve neutrality. Early voting for election officials, introduction of early voting for INEC officials, accredited security personnel, journalists, and observers to improve neutrality and efficiency on election day. Number 8, legal status of INEC guidelines. Grant statutory force to INEC's guidelines and regulations issued under the Act to enhance compliance and uniformity. What is he saying? That they should grant statutory force to INEC's guidelines. So the guidelines INEC has put out, it must be backed. There must be a legal binding on it that INEC must use it. It is a must that INEC uses it to enhance compliance and uniformity. Not that INEC bring guidelines, they don't use it, they don't start giving an excuse. No. If you bring out guidelines, like how you deceived Nigerians the other time, you told us that this is what we're going to do, this is what we're going to do. At the end of the day, you abandoned what you told Nigerians we were going to do. You abandoned it and did another thing differently that was not really discussed. So now INEC guidelines will be backed by law. It is going to be mandatory, yes, to enhance compliance and uniformity. Amongst these other things, we have Okay, pilot diaspora voting for Nigerians in foreign missions during presidential, blah blah blah. Harmonized timeline for public officers' resignation before contesting elections. So these are some of the things. If you're watching this broadcast, I want you to also put your take. What do you think can be adjusted? For me, the most important thing is the president appointing INEC officials. That is the most important thing. One. Number two, elections should be conducted one day. INEC guidelines must be backed by law. Documentary evidence. If you are going to present evidence in court, the primary evidence should be the beavers, logs, IREV, screenshots, EC8A forms, not oral testimony. Somebody comes to say that I was there, it is a lie. This one will say it is a true. No. There should be primary documentation. It should be binding and legal, and that should be beavers and the logs in that beavers, IREV screenshots, EC8A forms. These are supposed to be the main point. And also electronic voting. Electronic voting will stop MC Oluomo and his boys from snatching and grabbing it and running away with it, at least to an extent. You know that those MC Oluomo boys, if you do electronic voting, it don't come up for their jurisdiction. Then you can talk about the cyber criminals in the ruling party. You can talk about cyber criminals but when you come out those ones from MC Oluomo hand, you no need. We are even talking about NURTW transporting electoral materials. A neutral organization, because NURTW is no longer neutral. A neutral body should be part of this transportation of electoral materials so that it cannot be tampered with, because we cannot trust the system created by Tinubu using MC Oluomo from Lagos State. You put and go federal government as NURTW chairman. We cannot tolerate that. And also, when you are collating results, you must involve all parties, all contesting parties in the collation of results. Not the one when I go do Edo State governor. When they collect results inside a bedroom, when I put them outside as gate man, if they even try to peep in the lock gate, you stay outside, you be gate man. So collation of results, everybody must get involved in. If we do not reform INEC, we are not having elections 2027.